Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, an audit of the San Diego High complex shows unauthorized pay and misappropriation of funds.
And the restaurant named for Junior Seau is shutting its doors for good.
Also tonight, meet the candidates for San Diego County Supervisor. For the first time in 20 years, there's an open seat on the board.
And we'll tell you who wants that seat and what they stand for. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Ferrian.
I'm Dwayne Brown. Thousands of dollars in unauthorized or undocumented overtime and ongoing misappropriations of funds were revealed today in audits of payroll and purchasing at San Diego high schools. KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert joins us from the News Center. She's been following this story. What prompted these audits, Kyla, and what did the auditors find?
Well, a statement from the district today says that they do these kinds of audits on a regular basis, but the findings in the audits released today were far more serious than what they typically find. San Diego High School houses 6 small high schools, and the audits found what looks to me like a total of more than $180,000 in undocumented or improper overtime and other pay at all of those schools. The audits also found thousands of dollars in purchases that weren't supported with proper receipts or violated district policies. They also did an audit of the associated student body funds and found thousands in unauthorized or improper purchases, and that campus facilities were improperly being rented to non-school district organizations, and that, again, about $180,000 from those rentals that should have gone into district accounts went into other accounts at the campus.
And what kind of corrective actions are being taken here?
Well, a statement from the district says that the findings of the audit have been sent to the Board of Education and to the district Audit and Finance Committee, and those bodies could decide to take further action. The superintendent also said that they are very concerned with the lack of following district policies indicated in these audits, and that it's clear that more training and follow-up is needed to make sure that those policies and procedures are stuck to.
And I'm sure you'll be following up on this story. KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert.
Junior Seau's restaurant in Mission Valley is closing for good. The trustees of the late football star's estate say they made their decision to honor Seau's legacy and preserve the memories of good times at the restaurant. Seau committed suicide 2 weeks ago. San Diego's City Ethics Committee is once again trying to limit campaign contributions from political parties to candidates in nonpartisan races. The commission proposed a limit of $12,000 per election for citywide races. It would be $3,000 for city council races. The rule would apply to all levels of a political party, whether state, local, or federal. The commission says these limits are in line with those set by most of the 15 largest cities in the nation. The city's last limits were struck down by a federal judge, and the new proposal may be challenged by the Republican Party, which is suggesting a limit of $29,000 to $3 million. The Democratic Party is proposing a range of $5,000 to $10,000. The city attorney is now reviewing the limits.
The San Diego Port has played a central role in the campaign for city mayor this year. Today, Assemblyman and mayoral candidate Nathan Fletcher released his plan for the port. KPBS reporter Katie Orr is following the story. She joins us from the News Center. What are the main elements of Fletcher's plan, Katie?
Well, Dwayne, there are several main elements. First, Fletcher wants to bring a bigger military presence to the Bay. He would like to increase the region's total exports by $5 billion by the year 2020. He would like more local businesses to use the port for their shipping. And he would also like to improve the infrastructure around the 10th Avenue Marine Terminal to make it easier for trucks to get in and out.
Do any of the other candidates have plans for the port?
Oh, yeah, they all have made the port part of their campaign. District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis has shown some tentative support for possibly placing a Charger stadium at the 10th Avenue terminal. Councilman Carl DeMaio says he wants to see more transparency and more accountability in the way the port is run, and he would like the port to contribute more to waterfront civic projects. And Congressman Bob Filner says he wants to see the port expanded. He says it provides one of the best opportunities for creating middle-class jobs in the city.
KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. Tonight in our continuing coverage of the June election, we focus on the County Board of Supervisors race. For the first time in almost 20 years, a seat has opened up on the board. Joanne is talking with the top three candidates. First up, Del Mar Mayor and Republican candidate Carl Hilliard.
Mayor Hilliard, thank you so much for being here. I want to start off with something I heard, that you feel the biggest issue facing District 3 is realignment. And for the people at home, what that means is the process by which state inmates, prison inmates, are being transferred, the responsibility of them are being transferred to counties. Why do you think that's such an important issue for your district?
For a number of reasons. One, with one stroke of the pen, the state offloaded $5.6 billion worth of liabilities for health and safety services onto local government. In San Diego, that amounts to the first year being about $100 million. And the idea was, the promise was, that they were going to send us nonviolent, non-drug,
the non-nons.
Non-nons, right. And guess what we've got? We've got 1,000 prisoners so far, and we have, by and large, prisoners that have health issues, they have mental issues, and some of them have been convicted of violent crimes.
So at the end of the day, what can county supervisors do? They can't send them back?
Well, there's a lot we can do. Other counties are dealing with it differently. Some of them are just releasing them. I think what we can do is apply our skill sets and our basic knowledge in order to deal with that population effectively. For example, I think I heard this on KPBS, over 70% of the prisoners that are local prisoners are people that have not been convicted of a crime. They've been charged with a crime.
And they're waiting.
And they're
yes.
waiting. If you write a $2,500 check for your rent
right.
and it bounces, you're in jail. And the bail's $25,000, and the cost of the bail bond is $2,500.
You did hear that on KPBS. I want to move on to, because you're talking about realignment, which is a public safety issue. We spent a lot of time, KPBS did, looking at the budget priorities of the current supervisors. All of them have gone on record to say that public safety for them is the #1 priority, and they spend their money that way as well. But they've been criticized for not putting money into social services. As you probably are aware, we have one of the worst records in terms of getting food stamps out to people and other social services. How would you change that if elected?
I would change that, and that fits right in with your realignment question, because we have a very good success rate with respect to people that reoffend. At the state level, the recidivism rate is about 70%. Here, it's more around 35%.
That's only if they go through that special program, though.
Is.
That's not for all of them.
But
yes.
our special
very small
program,
number go through with
our special programs work. Well, take Las Colinas, for example. They have a faith-based organization out there that has over 85% success rate, because the women that are in that jail, by and large, face the same sort of problems.
But what does that have to do with getting food stamps to people?
Well, it doesn't, but it's part of the same thing, where you have a consciousness with respect to social issues that, if unattended, translate themselves into issues for the larger society. Homelessness, crime, and public safety issues. They're all part of the same fabric.
I want to get to another contentious issue that has surrounded county supervisors, which is the so-called Slush Fund. Now, this actually technically is called the Neighborhood Reinvestment Grants, but critics of this fund have called it the Slush Fund. Supervisors get $1 million per year, and they get to spend it in their districts, however they want. Some critics have argued that this is really a weight of 5 votes. Where do you stand on this?
I've heard that criticism, too. I'm a board member of SANDAG, and we administer, SANDAG administrators, the Transnet 2 funds. And guess what? They're not equally distributed. South Bay, San Diego gets a disproportionate share. So I'm in favor of a program that distributes the funds equally among the districts, so that each district gets its fair share.
So you keep those funds? You keep that budget?
Well, yes and no. I think you ought to keep the allocation of the funds. I think the allocation of the funds ought to be strictly for infrastructure. I think it's a mistake to send the funds outside of the district down to San Diego for ballet or Beethoven or some other type of activity.
We're going to have to call it time there. Thank you so much for being here, Mayor Hilliard.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll continue our discussion with the candidates in a moment. Steve Dannon is up next. And from our Fronteras desk, the story of a young track star in legal limbo because of her immigration status. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS at 8. Watch the day-to-day drama of an extended family of koalas, seen through the eyes of scientists studying their every move and vocalization on Nature. Then at 9, how did a tiny band of Spanish soldiers crush the mighty Inca Empire? New evidence gives clues. The Great Inca Rebellion on Nova. And at 10, he changed from a man of good reason into a pitiless autocrat who declared himself a god. Montezuma. That's tonight on KPBS.
The garrulous Mr. Garrow.
We have asked for you.
He provides defense for the accused.
You're a man who will have others hanged for a reward.
And in the Old Bailey of 18th century England,
Mr. Garrow was playing you like a harpist.
He fights for justice.
Since when have you concerned yourself with what you are allowed to do?
I will have my son.
You twisted your efforts so an innocent man would hang for it.
The new season of Garrow's Law.
A new season of Garrow's Law begins Thursday at 10:30, only on KPBS. KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
University of California Regents made it official today, appointing Pradeep Khosla as Chancellor of UC San Diego. He takes office in August and will be paid 5% more than the current Chancellor, Marianne Fox. UC officials say Khosla is taking a pay cut from his current job at Carnegie Mellon. The Regents are also considering a 6% tuition increase. We continue our look at the top 3 candidates running for the District 3 seat on the County Board of Supervisors. Joanne talks to Republican Steve Dannon.
Thanks, Steve, for being here. Now, you are currently Chief of Staff for Congressman Brian Bilbray. You've worked in both the public and private sector. We did hear from another candidate that his #1 priority in terms of this district is realignment. What is your #1 priority in District 3?
Creating a healthier business climate for jobs to be created. With nearly 1 in 10 San Diegans out of work, it should not take 5 to 7 years for a business to get a permit to expand one's operation in the county of San Diego. We have to reform the Department of Planning and Land Use. It shouldn't take, as I shared with you, 5 to 7 years. A lot of people are hurting, and that's our #1 priority.
What about realignment? Is that a concern for you? And just to remind our viewers at home, this is the process by which responsibility for inmates at the state level and state prisons is for some inmates, it's being transferred over to the county.
It's a huge issue. It's also known as AB 109, which is the state bill that basically forced counties to take care of these prisoners. I'm proud that I've been endorsed by the Deputy Sheriff's Association, the San Diego Probation Officers Association, San Diego Against Crime, and the Deputy District Attorneys Association. Why? Is because we need to work together as a region to ensure that we're not letting the bad people out early. But we have to hold Sacramento accountable. They are responsible for the funding source here. But we need to work together as a region to really combat this issue. It's a huge liability for the county of San Diego.
I want to move on to the so-called slush funds. Now, as you know, these are the neighborhood reinvestment funds. They've been dubbed the slush funds because this is $1 million that each supervisor has to spend at his or her own discretion. Some critics have said you can buy votes using these funds. Do you support keeping this fund?
We need to abolish it. I was fortunate to work with Jeff McDonald, the investigative reporter at the Union Tribune, to expose the abuses. And it went from $2 million to $1 million. When you have a county supervisor, the incumbent, Pam Slater-Price, that eliminated after-school programs, but at the same time funneling millions of dollars to the Old Globe and the Opera in exchange for free tickets, it's an abuse. What they did is they purchased political power, and we need to abolish it. We just mentioned AB 109. We are in a need situation, not a want. And if I don't have the support on the board to abolish it, we need to change the program to make it extremely transparent with the independent counsel so they can review each application and vet the organization before one tax dollar is dedicated to them.
If you can't abolish it and you are the successful candidate, will you not accept the fund?
I'm going to transform the fund and make sure it's competitive and transparent. If the other supervisors are going to be accepting funds for their community, I will push forward and transform that entire deal. That is a competitive competitive program.
Now, one of the criticisms of the board currently has been, or observations, is that they're all Republican. They're all white, and yet we know that. We know our county is not all Republican and all white.
That's true. I agree with you.
How will you bring diversity? How will you better reflect our county on the board?
Well, our diversity is our greatest strength, but I agree with you in your assessment there. I was strongly opposed to the Board of Supervisors drawing their own districts during redistricting. Every 10 years, the census comes out. The state of California, even the city of San Diego, has gone to an independent commission. When you have supervisors trying to trade one community to another, we have a problem. I strongly believe that the voters should elect their county supervisors, not county supervisors selecting their voters. I wrote the legislation, a proposal, to make it an independent commission. When other supervisors laughed at it, one supervisor had the courage, and that was County Supervisor Greg Cox, to adopt my proposal. And now Christine Kehoe, the state senator, is carrying the state legislation so that the next redistricting period, there will be an independent commission.
We are just about out of time, but I do need to ask you about food stamps and social services programs. With just 20 seconds left, we know that food stamps program has been criticized by the county. Do you think this is something that needs to be changed?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. In 2008, when the market went south, a lot of people lost their jobs. As I shared with you, nearly 1 in 10 San Diegans are out of work. But many folks, that number is actually higher because people are either are past their unemployment or they're over.
I'm going to have to call time.
Okay.
But Steve Dannon, thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
A San Diego track stars among thousands of undocumented immigrants to benefit from a new government policy. It allows them to avoid deportation, but with a catch. From our Fronteras desk, Jill Replogel explains.
Good, you got it. 19-year-old Aided Reyes is one of California's top-ranked community college athletes. Later this week, she'll compete for the state championships in long-distance running. But last fall, she was just a stride away from being deported to Mexico. Reyes and her boyfriend had been sitting in his car at night at a South Bay park.
I just felt like a flashlight in my face, like a flashlight was running in my face, and I was just like, what's going on? And the cop was like, oh, you guys are not supposed to be here. It's past 10:30.
The cop refused to accept Reyes' school ID cards and pressed her for her Social Security number. When she finally confessed she didn't have one, the cop called immigration authorities, and Reyes was detained.
And then they just took me away, and I couldn't really see where was I because it was dark and there has no windows. So I literally didn't know where were they taking me, and I was really scared. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
Once in detention, Reyes says immigration officers pressed her to sign a document consenting to immediate deportation.
And I was like, but I don't want to be deported. And he's like, well, why don't you want to go to your country? And I was like, because that's not my country. I was raised here, I was born there, but I don't know a single city or I don't know what's over there. I want to stay here. It's like, oh well, the chances are you're gonna be sent back. Being honest with you, I would just sign the paper and leave and then just wait 10 years and come back. And that's when I was like, well, I don't have 10 years to come back. I have a race next week on Thursday.
After several days in detention, Reyes was released in time to lead her cross-country team to a regional championship title. Soon after, her deportation case was closed under a new policy called prosecutorial discretion, and she was back to concentrating her full attention on school and running. Nice. Reyes is one of several thousand undocumented immigrants to avoid deportation under this policy, announced by the Obama administration last year. It directs immigration officers, lawyers, and judges to focus resources on prosecuting and deporting serious criminals and those who have repeatedly violated immigration law. People like Reyes, who have strong ties to the community or who have been living in the U.S. since they were young children, will have their deportation cases reviewed and possibly closed. Some analysts think President Obama is pandering to both sides of the political spectrum in an election year.
They're still promising to deport roughly 400,000 people a year. So how do you make that policy more politically palatable, particularly to Latino organizations, immigrants' rights, advocacy groups, to rank-and-file voters within the Democratic Party base? You make it more palatable by focusing the attention of the system on criminal aliens.
About 300,000 undocumented immigrants have deportation cases pending in immigration courts across the country. Reyes and the small fraction of others whose cases have been closed under the new policy are grateful. But And here's the catch, they're still undocumented.
Because as of today, if you file for prosecutorial discretion, there's no work permit. Once they get the case closed temporarily, what will they do? They basically have nothing. They fall in the same situation like they were before.
So Reyes still can't legally work. She can't get a driver's license. She can't apply for federal loans for school. All she has is a piece of paper from immigration authorities saying she's already been through the system and that her case is temporarily closed. She takes that paper with her everywhere.
It makes me feel more safe, but not completely safe because I still don't know what's going to happen. Because what about later on the laws change or, and then that paper's going to be nothing.
Reyes was in middle school when she found out she was born in Mexico and brought here as an infant. Since then, she's been trying to ignore the giant obstacle of being undocumented. Her near deportation was a wake-up call.
Even though I'm living here and making my life here, I felt like I really don't exist here.
For the time being, Reyes plans to continue running, studying, and preparing for a future in this country. She passionately wants to become a citizen, but only has a few options for getting there. Her best chance might be a private bill Congressman Bob Filner introduced, which would grant her permanent residence. But such bills rarely get through Congress. If Reyes somehow finds her way to a U.S. passport, her track coach, who's a former Olympian, thinks you might just see Reyes running in Rio in 2016 in a red, white, and blue uniform.
Clear the water, all the way.
Nice. Joe Replogel reporting. Reyes has had several scholarship offers from four-year universities. She hopes to transfer to one of them in the fall. We will wrap up our interview with the top candidates for county supervisor in just a moment. Dave Roberts is up next. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
I'm Ray Suarez. On the next news hour, President Obama invites congressional leaders to the White House. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
An American tradition in honor of our nation's heroes, a tribute to those who have served and sacrificed. It's the National Memorial Day Concert with General Colin Powell, Trace Atkins, Daughtry, Natalie Cole, Ellen Burstyn, Dennis Franz, the National Symphony Orchestra, my co-host Gary Sinise, and me, Joe Mantegna. Join us for a night to remember, the National Memorial Day Concert, Sunday, May 27th, 8 p.m., only on PBS.
The American people have named PBS the most trusted source of news and public affairs for the 8th year in a row. Trust.
The American people have spoken.
Thank you.
You've heard from two of the top three candidates vying for the District 3 seat on the County Board of Supervisors. Joanne wraps up our look at the race with Democratic candidate Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts, thanks for being here. Now, you are currently mayor of Solana Beach. You're endorsed by current supervisor Pam Slater-Price. We've heard from the other two candidates in terms of their number one priority. With Carl Hilliard, it's realignment. We've also heard about job creation. What's the biggest challenge, do you think, in the district?
I think the biggest issue that is facing the county right now is how the county relates to our economy overall. What can we do to really help move the economy along, help create jobs, and do it while we're protecting quality of life for the residents. And that's what I'm hearing in this campaign. They want us to protect their quality of life. Many people are looking for jobs, and they want a county government that can really help add to that overall.
Now, in the past, I've interviewed all of the supervisors about their number one priority. All of them have said it was public safety. As you know, the county's been criticized in terms of their record on social services. Where does that play in for you in terms of making sure people get food stamps and other social services?
Well, I've been talking about the many priorities in this campaign. Public safety is critical, and I have great qualifications in public safety, but this is really a campaign about the future and what we want San Diego to look like for our children and their children. And I think there are a number of things right now. Our economy needs help. We need to help be part of job creation. We need to provide core county services. Services such as food stamps, fixing the foster care system, some of those basic things that the county is charged with providing for all residents in San Diego.
It's interesting because Pam Slater-Price, who endorsed you, who's a Republican, you're a Democrat, had said in the past in one of her State of the County that she didn't think the county should be there to solve every social problem. What do you say about that?
Well, I'm humbled by my 120 plus endorsements, including Supervisor Pam Slater-Price. I've known her for a number of years. She actually appointed me as an alternate board member to the Polinsky Child Intake Center. We've adopted 5 children from the county now, and I think that the county needs to get back to basics, focus on these core service needs that we have. And core services includes public safety. 1/4 of the county's $5 billion budget is public safety. 1/4 is health care. People are hurting. We've got to look out for our veterans. We've got to help them access their federal, their state, their local benefits. And I think that it's the supervisor's responsibility really to provide that assistance in making sure that the needs are met.
I want to move on to the so-called Slush Fund, the Neighborhood Reinvestment Grant. Now, this is the $1 million that each supervisor has access to distribute in their district. Would you continue to accept that $1 million grant?
Well, the county's grand jury has twice in the last 6 years looked into the Neighborhood Reinvestment Program, and both times they commended the county overall, but there's room for improvement. People are sick and tired, I think, of hearing about the misuse of this program. A lot of it is not factual. What they want is an open and transparent program. Almost all 18 cities in Solana Beach, we have a community grant program. This is a community grant program. It's a targeted program to get tax dollars to stay here. And we're talking about $5 million out of a $5 billion fund. When I've been out talking to people, they say, we wouldn't have a library if we didn't have that money. This money is used to seed fund projects, libraries, animal shelters, parks, all the basic quality of life needs. And who better to make those decisions than the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors?
We haven't got a lot of time left, but I want to talk about the demographics of the board relative to the rest of the county. As you know, this is a diverse county. But if you look at our County Board of Supervisors, you wouldn't really know that in terms of we've got 5 people who are all Republican, all white, all graduates of San Diego State. If you win this election, how will you reflect the diverse needs of our county?
Well, I was transferred here almost 20 years ago to work for a Fortune 500 company. I immediately fell in love with San Diego, and I want my children to have the same opportunities I have had. I bring diversity to this board, and what's really interesting about this race is that I have strong bipartisan support from one end of the spectrum to the other end. Donna Fry, former council member from San Diego, has endorsed me, as has one of George Bush's secretaries of Veterans Affairs. So people have looked at my track record. They've looked at my local, state, and federal experience.
I'm going to have to call it time there. I'm so sorry, Dave Roberts. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
You can find all of tonight's interviews posted on our website, including our online voter guide. Just go to kpbs.org/election. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.